Scene Daddy interviews.
All right, everyone, and welcome to Scene Daddy Interviews. My name is Ian, and I am here on the phone right now with Joey Verela. Joey, man, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm chilling. It's cold. We're packing for tour, doing all of our last minute runarounds, which we seem to be very good at. So, I guess good.
Right. Well, that is very good. And then what I also want to follow up with is, since you are going on tour, do you have any tour rituals or anything that you need to do before you leave?
I don't think we have any rituals before we leave. We do this really great thing where we get nothing done till the last couple of hours before we leave.
Oh, I've heard of that.
I mean,
okay.
I guess that's a ritual.
Yeah.
We do it all the time.
So it's literally last minute. So obviously this is being recorded and will be out probably while you're still on tour. So right now, I have it here. It's Glass Houses and Levels, right?
Yes, it's a colorblind tour. It's technically our CD release tour.
Very cool.
First day is on Friday. Starts in Cincinnati, Ohio, in the Thompson House.
Ah, that place is very weird for you to mention to me because my parents just moved to Cincinnati.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you're going to have to tell me whether or not I should even visit them.
You got to start visiting, man. You gotta. Don't be a bad son. Go out there, see your parents.
That is a good point, and I do like that message. I definitely do. But literally, they just moved out there, so I have no idea what the city is like. At some point, I will make my way. But you guys are starting there. So now, you're in New York right now, right?
Yeah, we're currently still in New York City.
Okay. So then when do you leave to make sure that you get there on time, that you have everything set?
We're probably leaving tomorrow morning. We got a couple of last minute things, like I said, that we got to do. So pick up some merch and things like that. And then we usually try to leave in the morning, around 11 a.m. or something like that. Right after the morning traffic, but before the afternoon traffic.
Sure.
And we do that because if you try to drive anywhere in New York City with a van and a trailer while there's traffic, you'll be stuck there for hours.
For hours, yes, exactly. And then you just drive through the entire night then?
It's about 10 or 11 hours.
Okay.
Normally what we do is we put the music on as loud as we can.
Yeah.
We all sit in our benches and we drink a lot of tequila and ignore our tour manager, and we hope that he gets us there at a reasonable time.
That's what they're there for, right?
That is exactly what he's there for. Literally just to sit there and drive and never speak to us.
So then I got to ask so when you're on these long trips, you're putting on music, you're going, city to city, what music are you listening to? Are you listening to your own stuff? Are you listening to anything else?
Oh, no, man. I never listen to my music. I actually, I have this bad thing. I'm not sure if the rest of the guys are going to do this, but once I'm done doing vocals and I hear back the mixes, I never listen to whatever we have again because I immediately hate it.
Wow.
So we all listen to different things. So I mean, I'm into old 90s pop and R&B and stuff like that. Our drummer Malik is into classical music.
Wow.
The rest of the guys just kind of go to the Spotify playlist, and our tour manager plays Whitechapel exclusively the entire tour.
That's great. All right. I'm into that. So that is a very wide variety. And I mean, when I listen to your music, now I would say I really don't hear the Whitechapel as much in your influences, but I do hear some of the other things. So that makes complete sense then. But I think it is really interesting that you say that you can't listen to anything else that you make once it's done.
Yeah.
How is it then when you play it live? Are you hating yourself the whole entire time?
So, no, it's a different feeling live than it is listening back to the actual singles and stuff like that. Live, it's hard to explain, but when we get on stage, it's kind of like the music becomes its own thing, and we become completely different people on stage. It's like getting lost in the music. Whereas listening back to it, you start to pick out your flaws and the imperfections and what you could have done better or differently on songs. So I just don't listen to the record at all.
Okay. All right. Now that makes a lot more sense that you're able to lose yourself in your own music when you're doing it, because that would really suck if you're going out on tour and you just hate everything that you're doing the entire time.
That would just defeat the whole purpose of being a musician at that point.
Yeah, and that would be a scary thing. That would definitely be very scary. So let's go ahead now. Before we get into the new EP, obviously Black is coming out. Now, like I said, this show will probably be out after that. But luckily, you have sent me a copy of that. I've been listening to it over and over again and really enjoying it. But before we get into that, we got to talk about this because it's going to be on everyone's mind. So we got to talk about the change in VRSTY's actual name, how it's spelled.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a long, funny story, but it actually works out in our favor. So the name of the band is still VRSTY, even though, we obviously got rid of some letters.
Yeah. No I and no A. Yeah.
Yeah, no I, no A. So pretty much a while ago, when the band started touring, as we started, I guess, growing and stuff like that, we were approached by another band called VRSTY. They're not within the same genre as all. They were an indie band. They approached us and they told us that, hey, we share a name. You guys have X amount of plays and just the whole spiel. And originally wanted us to change our name, which to that, obviously, I said no.
Right.
I got our lawyer involved and so, just to check, not to like sue or anything like that, but to check to see if they owned any rights to it or anything else like that. It turns out they didn't own any rights to it or anything else like that. It was totally up for grabs. So, my lawyer suggested, maybe like buying the copyright for it or the leasing rights, because the way band names work now is each band can have that name if you're in a select region. Okay. You can't actually own the name, but because we happen to fall in the same region as them, we would essentially own the name and they would have to change their name.
Okay.
The only problem with that was when our lawyer had told us about that, he also told me once they go through the name change, I'm going to go through the process of getting all of the music that they have with VRSTY taken down. And so I looked into the band and they had like a lot of like really good things. They have music out there with like a million plays on YouTube, and they were playing in like baseball arenas. And I'm not the kind of person that like would want to purposefully ruin another band.
Right.
So honestly, I pretty much just told my lawyer, you know what, we'll drop the whole thing. We'll go ahead and take some letters out. I don't want them to, lose any traction that they have. Also for us, we had gone through like a couple of things and we were kind of changing our sound. So in my eyes, I thought maybe this change would be good for us.
Oh, sure.
And so we changed, we kind of just took the letters out and stood VRSTY, but, VRSTY. And it ended up working out for us because now when people type in that name on YouTube or Google or anything else, we're actually the only one that comes up.
That's true.
So it actually worked in our favor. So I'm glad we ended up doing that over ruining somebody else.
Yeah, that's a really good story, and I'm happy for the same thing. I'm glad that you thought about that and you made that decision. Look, the only way I would have been annoyed, and I do have a question about whether you got any backlash, from fans about it, but the only way that I ever get annoyed with that stuff is when bands do the upside down different letters in different places. Yeah. I can't stand that shit. I can't stand it.
No, see, that was an option that was presented to us also, but I'm not really too into that. So I was like, nah, we don't really need to put any letters upside down. It's not going to help our cause.
Right. Yeah. Well, there we go. We're on the same wavelength for sure. So then, have there been any other fans that have had a backlash for you changing, just taking the A and the I out?
I don't know if there's like people who stopped listening to us over that, but I do know we still get that today. Like this is a question that we we played in tons of different states, and at least once or twice someone's like, hey, I need to know why you changed your name, and I have to constantly tell the story.
Right.
Most people, after they hear the story, they're totally cool with it. They're like, oh, I actually didn't know that. But I mean, obviously I tell them I can't put that whole story on Facebook. That's not an appropriate way of handling things. So,
well, hopefully this show with having that question there, people will know, and then you won't get the question as much.
I'm still going to get the question. There's definitely going to still be someone who's going to ask this.
No, that's definitely for sure. All right. So then that actually transitions well into the new EP Black, because that also doesn't have an A or an I in it either. So
Yeah.
what a great segue. So
Yeah, well, it's funny because actually I did that on purpose. We took the letters out of the name, and so I was like, hey, you know what? We'll also take this one A out of Black, and we'll just put the record out like that.
I like it. Yeah, it's definitely clever.
Right.
So
yeah, you gotta have fun with what you're doing, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, and I mean, I've seen you live. We've met before in person. I believe when I saw you, that was in Salem, Massachusetts, and you were on tour with the Anchor. And we had a great talk after you guys were on stage and after the Anchor were on stage. And yeah, you seem to be a very go with the flow type person. Same with the band. Like, I think you guys can have fun for sure.
Yeah, we don't usually plan things. We're not the planning type. We just we're one of those bands. We wake up in the morning and we're like, all right, what do you want to do? And then someone's like, oh, I guess we can do this. And we're like, all right, well, we're doing that. Or like before. There's even been times before a show where like we're on stage setting up and someone's like, hey, do you want to add a song tonight? They're like, okay, I guess we'll just add a song tonight. We're very sporadic with our decisions.
Ah, okay. Well, actually on that note, when you do add a song or something, how do you decide on which song it is?
Oh, we gamble it.
Okay.
we literally ask who wants to play this and who doesn't, and then if the majority rules, like, all right, we're gonna play that.
All right, there you go. Well, then when you talk about not planning as much, maybe I know we've talked about doing, this interview for a long time, and then I know there were some pushbacks on the EP itself. What were the reasons for that?
This is gonna be a little bit of a long story. When we got off of the Anchor tour, we had just come off of our last label,
right?
Which I'm not sure if a lot of people know. We were with Artery Recordings.
Yep.
So we had just gotten off of that. We went on tour with the Anchor and we recorded this entire. It was actually a full record. It was about 13 songs.
Wow.
And we started. I guess we kind of sat down and we started talking and thinking like I feel like the record that we had was good, but it wasn't something that we were all crazy about. And so we essentially just came to the decision that maybe we should cut it down to a couple of songs and actually like really kind of like fine tune it or whatever. We just pretty much scrapped everything and started over again from the beginning.
Wow.
And then we got it mixed and we wanted to put it out sooner, but we started touring more and then we started talking to some other people, and
Sure.
we also got a brand new manager and a brand new agent. So a couple of things happened in between then and now that kind of stopped us from putting out the record sooner. But it's gonna be out now, and it's been forever. So we're all super excited about it.
Oh yeah, and I've definitely enjoyed going through it over and over, as I mentioned before. It's a really fun record, but it's also personal. I think you're very open in it as well. But my question would also be, because there are some singles on this EP as well that have been out before, how did you choose, what songs were going to be new and what songs you were going to use that had already been out?
So I know we were playing Colorblind a long time. We were playing that a while ago. That's always been like one of our favorite songs. So that one definitely had to be put on that. And Impressionable Me. We were playing those long before we even re-recorded them and everything.
Yeah.
Unity is like the song that was out prior to that. And it I don't know, it's a fan favorite song. It's also one of my favorites to play live. Like I absolutely love that song. And when it came down to it, we were like, hey, let's just give, the people want to hear an updated version of this, because we rushed the very first version of it that we put out. We were happy with it, but we weren't as happy with it as we are with the version we have now.
Right.
And I love playing that song. So anything I can do to extend the life of that song live, I will 100% do.
Right. Okay. I have to ask a personal question because one of my favorites is not on the EP. So I was just wondering, with a track like Promises, I love that song. I really do. So why doesn't that song make it on the EP?
So Promises, So the thing with Promises was that we all really do love that song.
Mm-hmm.
The version that we have of it is probably perfect to us. I feel I don't know what the rest of the guys feel, but I know me personally, I feel like maybe re-recording it and changing things would have taken the song in a different direction or a different route or made it sound weird. And it ended up being one of those things where that song in my eyes was already great the way it was, and I feel like we didn't need to touch it or do anything else to it. It's totally fine as it is.
Okay. All right. So just to confirm for everyone listening out there, so the 6 tracks that are on Black, you actually re-recorded even the ones that were singles before.
Yeah. So, well, it's out of all of the tracks on Black, I, Lucy, and Unity are 2 that were out. We re-recorded and we got those remixed.
Right.
And then the rest of them are all brand new tracks.
Wow. Okay. So then it wasn't like you were scrambling to find tracks to fill in the EP and you were just like, throw this on. You went in, you deliberately decided what you wanted, for your own personal reasons, and then re-recorded to make sure that everything sounded correct and that you got exactly what you wanted. Okay.
Yep, that's exactly. Yeah, we also never have a shortage of tracks. Anyway, I do all of the writing and recording in my house.
Yeah.
So whenever the band has an idea or wants to record a song, we do it at home. And right now, we're actually currently sitting on maybe I think 140 unreleased songs.
Wow.
So when it comes to when you guys scrambling for tracks, we're almost never scrambling for tracks.
Wow.
We're always writing things and tossing other things in the trash. And like I said, we're really sporadic with things. We'll like a song on Monday, and on Tuesday we'll completely hate it.
Okay. What I was gonna say was, with Black coming out now, that's your second EP. So you had Lights before, which I believe was that 2014.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, I think I put that out 2014.
Okay, so you got Lights in 2014, maybe 2015, somewhere around there, and then now in 2019 you've got Black coming out. But that is just, it's quote unquote just 2 EPs in that span of time. I'm assuming that there must have been a lot of label issues and things that, and maybe just you don't like, 120 plus songs that you've made.
Yeah.
But there must be, you know what I mean? There's got to be something that's stopping you from releasing all that.
Man, this is going to be a long story.
Oh, no, go ahead.
So when I put out the Lights EP, that was no band. Also, there was no VRSTY. That was just the name I had. And I put that out there just because I wanted to put out music.
Right.
It was literally just me. I wrote everything. I put it out. I'm like, all right, this is whatever. And then people ended up responding well to it. So I decided, okay, cool. I'll find people to play these songs and stuff. I ended up finding my bandmates. Right after that, we put out 2 other singles. Right. Which was Risen and Rain Dance.
Sure.
And after that, everything kind of went to hell. What I like to tell people is this band didn't have enough time in the baby stage.
Oh, okay. All right.
I feel like when a band is starting off, you should play a certain amount of local shows and a certain amount of things, or at least do a certain amount of things before you start talking to management or touring or anything else like that.
Sure.
We put out the Lights EP and then Risen and Rain Dance probably maybe 3 months apart. Right after Rain Dance came out, we signed to the Artery Foundation management.
Yep.
And we had only played at that time 10 shows.
Wow.
10 local shows. Huh. And they immediately threw us on tour.
I see. Okay.
So that, adjusting to that, and then our manager at the time, whose name was Will, was an amazing dude. But he, I guess, he, being a manager in the Artery Foundation, I guess he wanted to build us as quickly as possible. And so we did a lot, and it kind of stopped us from writing and releasing the things we wanted to, because we were pretty much always on the road or always doing something.
I see. That's actually really interesting. So is that kind of words of advice you would have for bands that are starting out, is to kind of take that part pretty slow, get to know your band a lot more personally. Yeah, what people can handle, what they can't, and then you go out and you do the major tours and everything.
Yes, I 180%. I firmly believe that young bands should start slow. Don't get too crazy into things, because once it starts getting too crazy, you get sucked into things, and then it's almost impossible to stop. I mean, we were supposed to do one tour, and then we were touring for 3 whole years straight. So
wow,
that's what that turned into. And baby steps, like just make sure you take those baby steps.
No, exactly. And I think it's really interesting too. You brought up Rain Dance, which would have had probably, I would think, would have even propelled you further because you had the feature from Johnny Craig on there too.
Yep.
So yeah, did that whole connection come around because I think Johnny would have been on Artery during that time, right?
Yeah. So Johnny was on Artery at that time, but I had already known him prior to that. So this is another thing I get asked about. We did that guest spot on the day of his birthday.
Oh, okay.
He was in New York City on tour, and I kind of showed him the song, and the guest spot just happened, and that's how that was. That was not planned. That was not anything. That was just something that happened, and I'm like, all right, cool. I guess this is it. And I turned it into management, and they were like, all right, you have 3 weeks to put that out. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're gonna do that now. So
wow.
Yeah.
So now, did you, because it wasn't necessarily planned, did you write all of Johnny's parts on that?
Yeah, I wrote everything for that song. I had wrote all of the lyrics, all of the the instruments and stuff. I wrote Johnny's parts, but when he sang them, obviously Johnny has
his own.
He has his own like thing that he does. So when he started singing, I just told him that, dude, you do whatever the hell you want to do.
Exactly.
And if it comes out good, it comes out good. If not, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And it ended up coming out. That was the song that pushed us into like the next level.
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes choosing the right feature, that definitely works. So I wonder, you've worked with people in the past. Obviously, you've been on these major tours. Would there be another feature that you yourself would like to have on that next release?
There's a few. There are a few. However, if I can narrow it down to like 2 people that I really, really, really want to work with, I would love to work with Tyler Carter, and I would also love to work with Brendan Urie.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I love Issues, and I'm absolutely like in love with Panic at the Disco. I think everything he does is just the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah, and I mean, that would kind of work as well in the style of music that you write, because we might as well get into that as well. Obviously, we're just jumping topic to topic, but it's one of those things where I think what makes you guys very unique in the scene of a lot of bands that sound very similar is that you really do have that R&B like infused post-hardcore. And when people might read that, they might not understand what that means. But when they listen to what you're doing, when they listen to Black, I think they're going to hear that and really get it. So for someone like Brendan Urie to come along, if he was to do a feature, that would work really well already in the template you have. I think that's why Johnny works so well.
Yeah.
That makes complete sense. So why don't you tell me a little bit about, since you had done Lights and you had gotten all the band together and you pretty much did everything yourself in the beginning, how did you know that that was the kind of style that you wanted to go with?
Oh, I didn't. The Light EP was something I did for fun. It's funny, if you listen to all of that stuff and the stuff on the new EP, they're almost 2 completely different genres.
They're pretty different.
The Light EP is way more poppy.
Yeah.
But that's simply because I was just writing whatever I wanted to write, and then I sang whatever I wanted to sing, and it was like, all right, this is cool. Whereas with the Black EP, I honestly felt like, okay, cool. If we've done all of this in this amount of time, and people are actual like fans of us, like I want people to start knowing me and knowing the band for a style that we all genuinely love playing.
Right.
So for some odd reason, everyone expected us to be softer, and this EP is actually a lot heavier.
Yeah.
We're just all fans of heavy music, and I listen to way too much Chris Brown and Michael Jackson. So that's pretty much the Black EP. That's how that whole thing happened.
Yeah, because you do have a lot of unclean vocals coming over the top of what you're doing with your, the clean style that you're working with. So it is an interesting combination, and that combination has been done before, but it just works with what you guys are doing. And I think that's what really does show the uniqueness of your band. So when you guys are together, did you actually write all the lyrics and help with music? Or because now you've got a more full band, did everyone play a specific part?
Everyone has their own part. So guitar players play guitar, drummer does drums and stuff, bass is bass, vocals. However, there are times where like I sat down with Paul and we started writing things. I pick up. I like being very hands on with things.
Sure.
Simply because I've always said this. I don't think my strong point is so much as like coming up with the ideas. Like I have good ideas sometimes, but I've been in this industry for so long that I've gained an ear for how the song should play out.
Okay.
So if someone is like, all right, we got these parts or we got this, like I'll pick up a guitar and I'm like, all right, yeah, but maybe this should go next or that. But for the most part, everyone kind of does their own part. And then at the very end, I will lay down a bunch of lyrics and a bunch of melodies and I'll start going over them and I'll sing them in the shower. I'll sing them going to bed. I'll do it a million times until I'm actually happy with it. And then I'll lay down the finals and then we send it out. I hear the mixes back and then I never listen to it again.
Yes, right. Going back, it's full circle.
Yeah, full circle. It's funny because when we start recording, I listen to the song. I only listen to our music.
Okay.
So whenever we have like anything written, I only listen to that. So like for example, it was about like a month or a month and a half ago. Jesse came over and we wrote a song, and I swear on everything, I must have listened to that song religiously for 2 weeks straight. I didn't listen to anything else.
Wow.
Because I'll listen to it and I'll be like, all right, how can we make this better?
Yeah.
What can we do to like kind of make this stand out a little more, or what can we switch and things like that. So I'll purposefully only listen to our stuff and not listen to any other music so that I'm not influenced by anything else.
Ah, okay. Yeah, and that's got to be, now I totally understand why you wouldn't want to listen to a track again. That really, I mean, I always, when I do, the interviews and conversations, I listen to only that band's music through their entire discography. I just listen to that over and over again. So it's true. Sometimes you need a break afterwards, but you're even doing it more because that's your music. So yeah, that totally makes sense. So
yeah, it's become one of these things over time where like now, like I even hate my own voice.
Oh,
I don't even like to listen to myself sing anymore. It's just like, all right, I have to do this and I have to nail it. And once I nail it, that's it. Like I move on to something else.
Yeah, the editing process must be tough then, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's terrible, dude. I also, because like we produce our own music,
yeah,
I have to sit here and listen to my own voice like a billion times. And it's the most annoying process.
No, believe me, it's to a lesser extent, but I put a lot of time into editing all the shows that I do. So especially with a talk show, you're talking the entire time. So my goal, obviously, with an interview is to have the other person talk way more. But when I'm doing the shows where, we're talking about, album reviews and seeing music and all that stuff, then it's just me talking. And I'm like, holy shit, like, don't people get tired of this?
I would assume they would. I feel like that might be a thing with just all humans.
Yeah.
We beat things into the ground and then we wonder why we hate them later, but there's like a legit reason why. It's repetition, man. We repeat things over and over and over, and then eventually we're going to get tired of it.
Yep. Marketing 101. That is for sure. Yeah, first you love it, and then it's just too much and you can't take it anymore. So I got to ask you, we talked about music a little bit more here, but what about writing? What about your lyrics? How do you normally write?
Okay, so I listen to the song on headphones, and I usually just like I try to tell myself like, what does this song feel like to me?
Okay,
it's really weird, but I try to I give every song a color.
Oh, wait, that's actually, like, there are people that they do that with people as well. They either give them a color or a number, and I can't remember what that is, but okay.
I give every song like a color. So I listen to it and I'm like, oh, this song sounds so brown to me or whatever. Mm-hmm. And based off of that, I'm like, how does this make me feel? Like what feeling does this song give me? And once I catch that, I start writing like my lyrics like based off of that. Like, all right, this is what I feel, so this is what I want to write about.
Wow, that's so interesting. When did that start for you?
I want to say it started after the Lights EP.
Okay.
My very first time doing that was with Risen.
Yeah.
I was trying to look for different ways to write music because I mean I'm never satisfied with anything I write. I hate all my lyrics. Like even now I'm looking up. I'm creative writing because I want to be a better writer and I want to
All right.
express things better.
Sure.
First song that I experimented with that was Risen. I wrote Risen, and the song makes me feel really anxious.
Okay.
And so I wrote it about it. My anxiety is like, hey, this is this is how this makes me feel. So I'm gonna write this about that.
Wow. I guess I don't know if it correlates or not, but is there a reason then that the album is called Black?
Yeah. So the album was pretty much all of the songs. If you listen to them,
yeah,
I pictured myself in a dark room, like searching, like trying to search for light.
Okay.
But there are no light sources. It's literally just you in a room alone with your thoughts, and that's how I wrote all of the lyrics for this EP.
Wow. I mean, to some that might sound very depressing. To others, maybe that's exactly what they want. Did you have that feeling of maybe being depressed or being anxious, of that whole kind of being trapped?
Dude, I am depressed every other day. I go through I don't want to say my life sucks, but it's not great. You know, I live a normal human life. Like I
Sure.
go through things. A lot of it, some of it is good, a lot of it is bad.
Right.
And so I try to write what comes naturally to me. If what I'm saying doesn't resonate with me, it definitely won't resonate with anybody else.
Right.
And the way the world is now, like with social media and everything, like I can't tell you how often I go on my Facebook and I see kids or anyone, and they're just like, oh my God, today sucks. I'm depressed. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
Right.
And these are the people that like follow me or add me because they listen to my music. And so, to me, it's always been one of those things. If this doesn't mean something to me and it's not going to help somebody else, I don't care to write it.
Ah, I see. So in that way, maybe you wouldn't be up for writing like a concept album.
I mean, it depends. I've written concepts before.
Okay.
But even when I'm writing anything that's a concept, I'm always the main character because I write things and I'm like, all right, if I'm writing a concept, and even if I'm writing a whole story based around, I don't know, a man versus a machine, I would put myself in that man's shoe or that machine's shoe. Like, how would I feel, if I was a creation of, essentially anything,
Yeah. All right. Well, we had kind of hit on it off air, but you had mentioned recently that it hasn't been the best few weeks for you. I'm wondering if what you were just talking about, was that dealing with that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So these last 2 weeks have been, well, I don't want to say last 2 weeks, last few weeks have been really stressful. It's all been filled with like good news and bad news.
Okay. So
it's one of those things where I've woken up every day, and it's been something new.
Oh, okay.
And it, I, like I said, I'm just a normal person. I can handle a bit of things, but I can't really, I'm not good at handling or dealing with multiple different things at once. And that's kind of what it's been feeling like lately.
Ah, I see. Now, will going on tour, will that help out? Will having the EP finally be available to everyone, will that help with any of that?
Yeah, in a weird way, going on tour helps simply because I go to different places and I'll meet kids who will come up to me and are literally going through the same things that I'm going through at that moment.
Ah.
And it's easier for me to explain to kids or to try to help kids than it is to, to help myself. And I guess over the course of tour, me trying to help other people, eventually I'm like, oh, you know what, maybe I can do this. Maybe I, the advice I'm giving other kids, I should probably take myself, or I should do this, or I should do that. But also helping other kids makes me happy. So it boosts my mood. It totally boosts my morale to know that I can go through something, but I can still go on tour. And if someone else is going through something, and even if they, just want to talk for 5 minutes, I will legitimately just drop all of my problems and try to help that other person.
Oh,
that makes me feel good. So that helps me.
All right, that is good. That is something positive to look at then. Okay. Yeah, that's a good way to look at things. So now with Black, do you think that any of those tracks, is there anything that you could highlight or that you wanted to showcase that maybe would help people with those kind of issues?
I don't know if there's anything I wanted to highlight. Each each song is like each song on Black has, I guess I can call them standalone songs. They each have their own little meanings and their own little reasons for being the way they are.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything. See, my thing is, I when people listen to my music, I want them to kind of picture whatever it is they're going through and listen to the music and understand that somebody else on the other side of the world, on the other side of, the room even, is probably going through the same thing that you're going through.
Right.
And you don't even know it. But there is a way to get out of all of these situations. Maybe if we, through music or by speaking. I know for me personally, like, music is totally a lifesaver.
Right.
I mean, it's like, what I tell people is it's a universal language.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one language that no matter who you are, you understand it. You can be anywhere in the world, and music will speak to you in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
And that to me is like that's what I want to like express to like other kids. Like, like if you need an outlet, if you need someone to talk to, or if you need anything, like, we're regular people like everyone else who go through the same things. You can hear it in the music. Maybe hit one of us up.
Yeah. So Joey, I think that was probably the perfect place to leave this. That wrapped up absolutely perfectly. So now, like I said, I just want to let everyone know people should listen to this EP. I enjoyed it a lot. I've been a fan for a while. And then also, since you are such a touring band, you've got the tour right now that might still be going on. And then now, is there anything else planned?
There's a couple of things planned. Some of them aren't, they're not set in stone yet.
Okay.
So I can't really discuss them. And other things I just can't discuss because I could probably get in trouble for it. So.
Oh no.
We do have other things planned.
Good. Okay. Well, that way people will know you guys are constantly moving. You're constantly working on things. So we will have links in the description of the episode so that everyone can follow you guys, hopefully see you out on tour, buy merch and support. Also pick up the EP, obviously. It's Black once again, minus the A, just so people aren't confused. And then, Joey, I am so happy we were able to do this. We've been talking about this for a long time. And now to be able to do this with Scene Daddy, I'm just very happy. So, man, thank you so much.
I'm happy we did this too. This is fun. I enjoyed it.
I just want to thank you once again. Let everyone know, buy Black. Make sure you support these guys. They definitely deserve it. So, Joey, once again, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, man.
You've been listening to Scene Daddy Interviews.
Thank you all for listening to Scene Daddy Interviews. Make sure you support the artists we featured by checking out the summary of the episode. Also, for all your scene news, reviews, and memes, make sure to follow Scene Daddy and Ian Hates on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe and rate Scene Daddy Interviews on your favorite podcast listening app for more great artist interviews in the future. Stay seen.